record. Okay, so welcome. Happy days. Today's practice is going to be a lot of shoulders and neck, and know that you have the freedom to move your body as much or as little as you want. We're going to start seated today. So if you want, you can gear up the playlist. Today is Common Ground Grounded 12, starting with the first song in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then make your way into a comfortable seated position on your mat. Building off of what we did on Monday, there will be a little bit of binding, but not nearly to the same extent. And what I like about binding is that it represents completing this energetic chain within ourselves. So this is binding. This is binding. This is binding. It's about finding this completion within ourselves so that we do not need or require anything from anyone else. Knowing that everything that we need and require is already here within us. So as you sit here, your hands can be in any shape that best suits you. Gently closing your eyes, letting your gaze go inwards. Rounding the edges of your breath. And perhaps you go a little bit taller through the crown of your head, a softening of the chin. Gathering your ribs off your hip bones. Allowing gravity to release the weight on your shoulders. Stay here for 3 more breaths on your own. And then gently flutter or open your eyes. Interlace your fingers, bring your palms to touch and place them underneath your chin. Try and bring your elbows to touch if you can. And then use your inhale, bring your gaze up, keeping your knuckles glued to your chin. And as you exhale, bringing your gaze back through center, opening your elbows wide. Inhale to close your arms, elbows touch, gaze goes up. And then exhale, opening up wide. So continuing this movement and opening through the front of your neck. And maybe when you bring your elbows to touch, you might notice an activation through your back and your spine. 2 more times. Last one. And then keeping your hands interlaced, bring them behind your head. And then switch which leg is crossed in front. Yeah, always have that one dominant side, so just switching it up a bit. This time as you inhale, open up through your chest, bring your elbows wide. And as you exhale, curl in round through your upper back, your mid back, your low back, your elbows come close together. And then inhale, open up through your chest. Exhale, curl and round. And again, moving with your breath. Maybe pausing at the top Maybe not. Let's do that 2 more times. Last one. And then coming back to your neutral spine, half cow face. Take your right arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, and then bending at your elbow, maybe your palm comes to your upper back. So this might be enough. Otherwise, you could take your left hand, bring it onto your elbow, guiding it more in towards the center of your back. What will happen is your rib cage will want to pop and flare, so soften through your ribs and see if maybe you can bring your head up a little bit more. Good. From here, add a little bit of a side bend over towards the left. Whew. You notice that chest will want to curl and round over towards your left knee. So see if you can counter that by still opening your chest up towards the right. Oh, need some shakies happening. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release, come back through center. Whew. Roll out your shoulders. And then same thing over to the other side. I'm just gonna take off my sweater. So reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling, bending your left elbow. And then same thing, this is called half cow face, Gokumasana. And then reset, notice if that rib cage is popping up, soften here, draw your tailbone down, and then lift your chest and your head. Feel free to stay here or bending over towards the right. You might notice that internal struggle of noticing where your focus needs to go. Is it your breath? Is it your body? You choose where your focus goes. Bring yourself back on up. Good. Release your arms, roll your shoulders back and down. Eagle arms, right arm crosses over top of left. Maybe your hands touch, completing the bind. Maybe you grab opposite shoulders, also completing the bind. And from here, finding a thoracic twist, so turning over towards the right, center and the left. Using your inhale over to the right. Exhale left. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale right. Exhale center. Good. Release your arms. And then switch sides, opposite arm on top. Finding your bind. This time starting with an inhale over to the left. Exhale to the right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. One more time, inhale to the left. Exhale, come back through center. Good. Roll your shoulders back and down. And now come to kneeling on your mat. Your choice if you would like your toes tucked or untucked. I'm just gonna turn around so you can see from here. Bring your right hand down beside you. Your fingertips are crawling away from you while trying to keep your chest lifted. And then your left hand goes onto your head, bringing your ear over towards your left shoulder. Stretching through the right trap, your neck. You'll notice that one side of your body will want to start to lean, and that's okay. You could explore tiny little movements of drawing your chin in towards you. And then away. Releasing your head, bring it back through center, left fingertips down, right hand on your head, drawing your right ear towards your shoulder. Ooh. And don't rush anything here. Take your time. Seeing if you could focus on your exhale. Smallest of movements and adjustments with your chin. Releasing your hand, head back through center. Might feel nice to make a couple of semicircles with your neck, bringing your chin over to one shoulder and then the other. One more for our shoulders here and kneeling. You're gonna bring your right hand down beside you so your palm is facing back, and then your left hand is going to grab your right wrist and then start to pull it over towards the left. What am I doing here? And then you want to tip your, actually personal preference. For me, I don't feel like I'm getting much of a stretch by tilting over towards the right. I'm actually going to stretch over to the left a bit. No. Yeah, bring your head over towards the left. It's more of a subtle stretch. You might get a little bit more into the top of your shoulder or even the front. There we go. And then try bringing your chin in towards you. Back up, switching sides, left hand behind, right hand grabs your left wrist. Ooh. Right ear over towards your right shoulder. And release, roll your shoulders out. One more for upper body, but starting to find a little more movement through the lower half. Bring your legs into 90 degrees. So 90-90 with your knees. You start with your left leg forward. Your left foot is flexed and then your right leg is behind. So this right inner arch of your foot is coming down on the ground. Bring your right hand onto your left knee. And your left hand is going to wrap around. So maybe it comes onto your right thigh. Maybe it rests on your right back, right side of your back. And then perhaps you start to open your chest over towards the left, or you stay center. And then drop your chin over towards your right shoulder. Come home to your breath. Notice your hands on your body. Slowly release. Keep your legs where they are. Walk your hands a little bit more in front of your left thigh. And your right hand is going to thread underneath your left, making a figure 4 shape. Perhaps your right temple rests down on the ground. So you're doing figure 4 with your arms while your legs are in 90-90 degrees. Coming into an abdominal twist, also opening up through your shoulder blades. That left hand can stay down by your face, or you can reach it towards the top of your mat. And shift, adjust, take tiny movements until you can find a little bit of comfort in the shape. Stay where you want. Take a breath in and out. One more time, breathing in And out. Planting your palms under your chest, slowly unravel. Ooh. And switching sides, swinging your right leg around front, left leg behind. Starting off, bringing your left hand onto your right knee and your right hand goes around and back. And maybe it comes to the same spot, maybe it doesn't, that's okay. Your palm could be facing open or closed. And then perhaps that chin goes over towards your left shoulder. Slowly release. Walk your hands over towards the right side of the mat. And then this time your left hand threads down and through. Ooh, some days that twist is there on one side and sometimes it's not. You can always stay up on your forearms. Maybe your left temple comes down, maybe it doesn't. So if you notice that your mind starts to wander, the things that are not in control, things that you do not have control over, come back to what is tangible and real. Noticing your inhales and exhales. Maybe your right outer hip. Maybe the sole of your left foot. Soft breath in and out. Ooh, bringing yourself back on up. Turning yourself back over towards the front of your mat. Plant your feet, windshield wiper them side to side. And then cross your ankles, bringing your knees down, making your way into your tabletop. Today, I encourage you to bring your knees wide apart so you can play around with shifting your hips forward and back a little bit more. Maybe opening up through your hip flexors. Ooh. You might notice that those feet want to naturally come off the ground. They might do that, they might not. You've 5 more breaths, freestyle any movement you feel called to do in a variation of cat-cow. Or if you want an extra long child's pose, you can make your way there now. Intentionally breathing into those sticky spots, places where we hold our breath, or that movement we choose to avoid. Being present here in our bodies. Now when it feels right for you, making your way into your shell stretch. Maybe your heels or your bum rests on your heels, maybe they don't. And then today, bend deeply into your elbows. So your elbows are going to go out a little bit wider so you can relax your shoulders onto your back. Surrender here to this moment. Honoring and acknowledging where you are at right here, right now. And then bringing yourself back on up to tabletop, gathering your knees underneath you, hands more towards the top of your mat, and then push back into your first down dog. Ooh, let that blood flow back into your legs. Holy moly. You could shake your head no. Releasing your jaw, give it a wiggle. Or maybe a big yawn. Bend your knees really deep. See if you can bring your shins parallel with the ground. Keep that bend in your knees as you try and reach your bum up towards the ceiling. Push down through your hands and then start to straighten out your legs. Find a gentle lift through the rectum and perineum. Engagement through your lower abdominals. And softly gather your rib cage a little bit closer towards you. Good. Then remember to breathe. Walk your feet up towards your hands, forward fold top of your mat. Feet as wide or as close as you want. And then a gentle sway, any type of movement that you want. You could have your hands down. You grab opposite elbows. Woo. And then release your hands down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Fingertips on the ground. Shift the weight into your left foot. Step your right foot back down and long. Lower your right knee. Arms reach up and open into a cactus shape. So again, just like what we did at the beginning, your rib cage is going to want to pop forward and you want to push that tailbone back. So slight tuck of the tailbone, like just a little bit, not an over tuck like an Urkel. And then see if you can actually bring more of your forearms up towards the ceiling. Gaze goes to the top corner of the room, or you could close your eyes. As you inhale, straighten your arms up. Maybe hook your thumbs together, still pushing your palms open. Bend a little bit deeper into your front knee. Continue to find that lift through your lower core. Your next exhale, you bend your elbows. Maybe your hands come behind your head. So you're still trying to keep your elbows open wide. Inhale to straighten, reach up. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Open your arms wide into cactus, gaze goes up, maybe a little bit more of a back bend and heart opener. And then exhale, fingertips down to the ground. Step back into a high or low plank. And as much as this is holding you up, I want you to think about your hands and feet pushing down into the ground. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees, chest and chin, untuck your toes. Heart opener ripples. So up to you, you could stay with your palms underneath you, going through cobra or up dog. You could also bring your elbows out wide, coming more into this grasshopper shape, undulating your spine. I know I said 3 breaths, but really let's do a couple more. And planting your palms, push back into a closed leg, child's pose or shell stretch. Maybe even reaching your arms back towards your feet, palms open. Gentle sway of the hips, releasing your low back. Reach your arms back forward. Your choice, you could come to a tabletop or a down dog. When you're ready, stepping your right foot behind your right hand. Low lunge. And again, open those arms into that cactus shape. Gather your rib cage, slight tuck of the tailbone. Elbows are opening wide. Maybe your forearms are turned ever so slightly up towards the ceiling. Try and square off your hips. And then breathe. Reach your arms up. Hook your thumbs, but this time the opposite thumb's kind of hooking in front. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bend at your elbows. Maybe those thumbs come behind your head. Inhale, reach them back up. Exhale, bend elbows wide. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale, open your arms into cactus shape. Gaze goes up, a little more bend into your front knee. Exhale, fingertips down to the ground. Push back, high or low plank. Think about an opening through your collarbones. It might help to add a little bend into your elbows here. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower yourself all the way down. And then again, options there if you want to undulate, opening your spine, bringing it back down. You could also pause in Sphinx. You could just lie yourself down. This is your time. Whatever shape you're in, stay for 3 slow breaths. Next exhale, lower yourself down, plant your palms, tuck your toes. Close leg, child's pose. Keep your toes tucked this time. Your hands are going to reach back for the soles of your feet, and then bring the crown of your head, the very top part, onto the ground. So you're really curled up like a tight little ball. Feel free to stay here or stretch your bum up towards the ceiling into rabbit pose. You might experience a stretch through your upper back or in between your shoulder blades. And again, shift and adjust however you need. You might need to walk your feet in closer or further away. Releasing your feet, plant your palms under your shoulders, and then bring yourself on up to kneeling. Hands on your knees, take a big breath in, chest comes forward. As you exhale, curl and round. Stay here in this rounded shape. Use your inhale, breathe into the back line of your body. Exhale, bring your chest forward. Take a big breath in here in a variation of cow. Exhale, curl and round. Stay for your inhale. Exhale, back to neutral. So you've ever noticed that you start to experience some low back pain? Cat-cow is great, but what we tend to do is then we dump into our low backs. So what you could do instead is try and emphasize breathing into the back line here. And then you could come up to neutral, but then bring your chest forward. Yeah. So curling round, neutral chest, especially if you find that you're sitting at your desk, this can be a nice one just to kind of get into your back a bit. Cool? All right. Make your way down onto your back. Yes, make your way down onto your back. Heels are going to be close in towards your bum. Finding two different variations of bridge. One is going to activate and get really into those quads, and then the other one will be a little bit more of a chest opener. So walk your feet in really, really close. And if you can, maybe you can actually grab your ankles. You might not have your feet flat down on the ground. For me, I don't have that mobility. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw my shoulder blades together. And my knees are leaning far over my ankles and my feet, but that's okay because they're not bearing any weight. Gaze is straight up towards the ceiling. And then try and squeeze your bum. Push your hips up towards the ceiling. Once you make your way into the shape, see if you can use the strength of your legs and then soften your glutes. Yeah, so unclench them. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your grip. If your shoulder blades were closer together, lower them back down. Draw your knees in towards you. Give yourself a little bit of massage on your low back, making tiny little circles. And then one more variation of bridge, this time planting your feet down about the width of your internal hips. And then your heels are close enough that maybe you can graze them with your fingertips. Push your arms down into the ground. Use the strength of your triceps. Again, your gaze is straight up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, curl your pelvis up, rippling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Your knees are going to want to flare out wide. So try and draw them up together. Push down through the inner arches of your feet. Palms can stay planted on the ground, or maybe you start to clasp your hands, bringing one shoulder and then the other closer together. Maybe your gaze is up towards the ceiling, or you're actually looking at your stomach so you can watch yourself breathe. Use the strength of your legs, relax your glutes. Two more breaths. Last one. Exhale, release the clasp of your hands, bring your shoulder blades back down, plant your palms, and then lower down, starting from the top vertebrae, tucking your tailbone down underneath, slowly melting your spine onto the ground, releasing your glutes, good. Heel toe your feet wide apart, and then allow your knees to fall in. Open your arms into a T or cactus shape, windshield wiper your knees. Gosh, we haven't done bridge in forever. Another fun way to move your spine. Open through the front of your hips. So if you'd like, you have two different variations you can take for opening through the front of your hips, finding your back bend. So you could come back into that variation where you're grabbing your ankles, lifting your hips up. You could come gear back into bridge, clasping your hands. Or if you want, and wheel is a part of your practice, setting your legs up, your foundation for your wheel, planting your palms. So your fingertips are turned towards your shoulders. Your elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Same thing, a curl of the pelvis, lifting your hips up, and then bringing the crown of your head onto the ground just for a moment. So you can walk your hands maybe a little bit closer towards you, and then starting to straighten up through your arms. Ooh. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chin in towards you, lowering the back of your head down, melting your spine. Oh. Knees in towards you in any variation of your back bend that you took. Good job, everyone. If there's any other final shapes that you want to take, maybe that looks like a happy baby. Maybe that's cobbler pose. Maybe it's a twist on each side. Please feel free to do so. And then when you're ready, making your way into your Shavasana. We have about 4 minutes here of any movement or stillness that you feel called to take. So as you make your way into your final portion of rest, I'd like to read you a passage that I found from Margaret Atwood. Before I read it, I encourage you to place your hands on your body. Maybe one hand on top of the other, maybe hands resting on your stomach or your hips. Noticing your hands on your clothing and on your skin. Holding yourself here. Completing your energetic chain. And this little poem Margaret wrote goes like this. This is your hand. These are my hands. This is the world, which is round but not flat and has more colors than we can see. It begins, it has an end. This is what you will come back to. This is your hand. These are your hands. Allow yourself to be held by this moment. Allow yourself to be held by your hands. Staying where you are, you can start to deepen your breath. Maybe rubbing your hands on clothing or skin. Noticing the different sensations underneath each one of your fingertips. And then maybe reach your arms up. You could take a big stretch. You feel free to stay rested down on the ground. Otherwise, if you want, you could make your way on up to seated. Bring your palms to touch. And pushing firmly palm into palm, start to rub your hands together, building up friction here. Maybe moving a little bit faster, feeling the heat in your hands. A little bit more. And then resting your hands one on top of the other on your chest. Take a big breath in and out. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Continue to find pockets of time to move slow or don't move at all. And I appreciate you all so much. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send them my way.